Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Martial Universe Season 7 based on novel. So let's start. Great Yang Province, Lin City. As the hometown of the Lin clan, Lin City was always fairly crowded, and its size also placed it amongst the top cities in the empire. From a distance away, it looked impressive and majestic. At the center of Lin City, the clan meeting hall, which was usually reserved for special occasions, was currently filled with a massive crowd. All kinds of noises gathered together, the resulting buzzing noise making one feel as if one was in a beehive. All the Lin clan elders were present at the middle of the meeting hall, and at this very moment, all of their attention was directed towards the chief's seat. A man was seated at that spot. An absent-minded look currently filled his usually fearsome face. Clan leader. As the most senior elder in the clan, Lin Mu could not help but cough gently as he watched Lin Fan's expression. Half an hour ago, Lin Fan had issued the highest command in the clan and summoned all the elders back to their headquarters. One should know that this command had only ever been issued twice ever since the founding of the Lin clan. Furthermore, both times concerned the survival of the Lin clan, and this time was likely no exception. When their thoughts reached this point, the elders' expressions faintly changed. Had something monumental happened? Lin Mu's soft cough awoke the dazed Lin Fan. His eyes slowly swept across the hall, as the noise instantly died down. Ha ha. Soon after Lin Fan's eyes swept across the hall, he suddenly started laughing mysteriously. As he lifted his head, his laughter grew louder and louder until even tears started trickling out of his eyes. Every elder and senior member in the hall was petrified till their faces turned pale. Just what kind of huge incident had occurred to actually shock the clan leader to such an extent? At one side of the hall, Lin Kuo, who was wearing a white dress, turned pale when she saw Lin Fan's actions. Her jade-like hands involuntarily gripped tightly onto her father's arm. Clan leader, is this because of some nefarious plot by the Wang clan? Rest assured, clan leader, regardless of their tactics, our Lin clan is not so easily bullied. Lin Mu spoke out in a low voice. If the Wang clan dares to declare war on us, our Lin clan will battle them till the death. Another elder sternly shouted. Right. In the meeting hall, the crowds were angered until the atmosphere turned boiling hot. Lin Fan's laughter gradually subsided. He wiped his face and promptly waved his hands, before he spoke in a somewhat coarsely voice, Elders, you do not worry. In the future, the Wang clan will no longer dare to display even the tiniest bit of disrespect to our Lin clan. Huh! The elders who were originally planning to fight to the death were instantly stunned. All of them were confused as they turned toward Lin Fan. The 100 Empire War is over, Lin Fan softly said. 100 Empire War. All the elders were once again shocked. Promptly, they recovered their senses as joy filled their faces. Was someone from our Lin clan selected by a supersect? Lin Fan slowly nodded his head. Crash! The atmosphere in the meeting hall instantly erupted while exuberant cheers poured forth and swamped every corner of the hall. It must be Lin Langtian. I'm afraid he is the only one who can do so in our Lin clan. That may not be the case. Lin Dong is not weak, and even Lin Langtian can't handle him. I think that Lin Langtian has a better chance. After all, his talents have been acknowledged by everyone here. Yes. He is indeed the most outstanding talent in our Lin clan. That branch family kid merely got lucky. Once news of this gets out, they will probably lose their final backing. In the corner of the hall, Lin Kuo gently bit her red lips and secretly sighed in her heart when she saw the exploding atmosphere in the hall. Did Lin Dong lose to Lin Langtian in the end? He has joined one of the 8 great super sects in Eastern Xian region, the Dao sect. Lin Fan's mumbling voice slowly spread, suppressing the din in the hall. One of the 8 great super sects, the Dao sect. Everyone's eyes instantly widened. Such an existence was simply beyond their imagination. In this 100 Empire War, he surpassed the talents from the various empires and took the champion spot. The large hall turned completely silent, and everyone felt a little breathless. The champion of the 100 Empire War. Ever since the founding of Great Yang Empire, no one had ever accomplished such a feat, right? To think that someone from their Lin clan had actually done it. Lin Fan lifted his head. A trace of blood in his eyes as he stared at everyone present, his soft voice still trembling as he announced, "It's Lin Dong." Crack! Several chairs instantly exploded in the meeting hall, as several people fell on their butts to the ground. However, no one took notice of them as they stared in disbelief at Lin Fan. The person who had been selected by one of the 8 great super sects, the Dao sect, the one who surpassed the geniuses of the various empires and towered over the rest. Lin Dong. The branch family member from Yang City, Lin Dong. Lin Kuo's jade-like hand was covered her red lips in surprise. The shock in her heart almost made her faint. She never imagined that the one to create such miracles would actually be Lin Dong. Lin Kuo was dazed as she reminisced about the incident that had occurred in the old tomb outside Yang City. The scrawny young man, covered in bloody wounds, who stubbornly continued to struggle under Lin Langtian's pressure. In a few years, the injured young wolf had undergone a metamorphosis, and was now an eagle that soared through the skies. Clan leader, is this true? Lin Mu opened his mouth and spoke, before realizing that his voice was a little coarse. He had placed Lin Dong in rather high regards. However, even he had never expected that Lin Dong could actually accomplish such a feat in the 100 Empire War. A place where numerous geniuses from everywhere gathered together. Lin Fan slowly nodded his head. Promptly, he placed both of his palms on a table to push himself up. As he stared at the crowd, his solemn voice filled with an authoritative tone slowly sounded out. Immediately inform the Yang City branch family that Lin Zhentian is appointed as the supreme elder of Lin clan. Lin Xiao, Lin Ken, Lin Mang and the rest will all be invited in to become elders. If anyone dares to badmouth the Yang City branch family in future. Lin Fan suddenly stopped, as a shocking killing intent surged onto his face. Will be immediately banished from the clan. Regardless of his status. The entire hall turned silent immediately. As everyone gazed at Lin Fan's solemn expression, all of elders, who were prejudiced against the Yang City branch family immediately shut their mouths. All of them clearly knew that the Yang City branch family would become the most powerful and untouchable existence in the entire Lin clan, and maybe even the entire Great Yang Empire. All of this was because Lin Dong came from the Yang City branch family. The Yang City branch family of the Lin clan had produced a 100 Empire War champion. This news quickly swept across the entire empire like a hurricane. Every part of the empire was completely stunned by this news. Any faction who knew a little about the 100 Empire War was completely shocked by this news. It was shocking beyond imagination. None of them could imagine how a branch family kid from a low-rank empire was able to accomplish such a feat that not even the geniuses from the various super empires could pull off. However, reality had been laid bare in front of them, and all they could do was bitterly grit their teeth and curse in a slightly envious tone. That monster. Yang City. This city was now clearly the most happening place in the entire Great Yang Empire. For several days, the Lin family had been completely flooded by various congratulatory messages. Every faction, even those with whom they were not acquainted with, showed up to congratulate them. This caused a massive headache for the Lin family. In the mountain situated behind the Lin family, Lin Xiao squatted in front of a bamboo house within a bamboo forest. There were several wooden poles nearby. This was the place where Lin Dong had trained at back then. Lin Xiao's rough and large hands caressed the wooden stakes that were filled with cracks, as if he could still see the scrawny figure that used to train here back then. You have been here for one entire day. Aren't you tired? Footsteps sounded out behind Lin Xiao, before a large coat was gently placed over the latter's back. How are father and the rest? Lin Xiao turned around and looked at Liu Yang, before he asked with a smile. Ever since father heard the news, he has yet to close his mouth. Liu Yang gently smiled and replied. Dong is truly outstanding. Even more outstanding than his old man, Lin Xiao sighed. However, the pride and contentment on his face could not be concealed. Dong must have suffered tremendously during the 100 Empire War. Liu Yang was somewhat upset as she spoke. She was not like Lin Xiao and the rest, who only saw Lin Dong's accomplishments. As his mother, she was clearly aware that based on Lin Dong's stubborn character, he must have suffered tremendously in that place. He is a man. His shoulders are meant to carry heavy burdens. Dong is tremendously talented, and the small Great Yang Empire is not enough to contain him. As his father, I am really proud to have a son like him. Ha ha. Lin Xiao laughed heartily. It is all because of you. Not only is Dong like this, even that last Qingtan is the same. A girl should stay at home, how dare she secretly run off? As if she had remembered something, Liu Yang's eyes were red as she spoke angrily. If something happens to Qingtan, I want to see if you can live with yourself for the rest of your life. Ha ha, that lass can't let go of Dong and she wants to chase after him. There is no helping it. Furthermore, the elder following her is extremely powerful, and must have an extraordinary background. With her protection, Qingtan should be fine. Lin Xiao laughed as he said. As for the argument that you had with that lass, after her brother knows, she will have to face the consequences. Ha ha. Liu Yang softly sighed. There was no point in discussing such matters at this time. As she recalled how that normally obedient lass actually argued with her over this matter, she felt suffocated in her heart. Don't worry, the younger generation will do all right on their own. Lin Xiao smiled as he hugged Liu Yang. Promptly, he lifted his head and stared at the distant sky before muttering to himself, Dong, since you want to explore, go out and explore the world. A man should do so. However, it doesn't matter how famous you become, if you are tired, you can always return home. Father may not be as accomplished as you, but I will make sure that you will never suffer when I am around. The Eastern Xian region, a continent that contained an endless number of legends. Since ancient times, numerous great world-shaking experts were born in these lands. The strength they possessed shook their predecessors and illuminated the way for new generations of practitioners. Their great might and dignity still shocked and awed people all over the world even after hundreds or thousands of years. At the same time, it also caused countless people to feel a degree of respect towards this place. The empires within the Eastern Xian region were as numerous as the stars in the sky. Empires rose and fell every day, and an endless competition shrouded the entire continent. The true rulers of this land that towered over those uncountable empires were the titanic beings known as the super sects. They sat above all empires and possessed inheritances from the ancient times. Amongst these super sects, there were 8 great super sects stood at the pinnacle. The Yuan Gate, 9 Heavens Supreme Purity Palace, Tao Sect, Thousand Puppet Sect, Symbol Valley, Sword Sect, Great Desolate Palace and Divine Sect. These 8 great super sects were the true overlords of this land. The strength that each of them possessed could instantly destroy any empire. Of course, in this continent that riddled with scuffles, even the supersects were unable to completely detach themselves. Not only did the 8 great supersects have numerous conflicts between themselves, there were also quite a number of other supersects eyeing their positions. After all, though the 8 great supersects might be the strongest within the Eastern Xian region, there were more than 8 supersects. The strength of some of these remaining supersects might be lacking in comparison, but they were no pushovers either. After all, everyone wished to climb upwards in this world. On the whole, however, the structure of the current Eastern Xian region was still being controlled by the 8 great supersects. However, there was still an endless amount of undercurrents present under this seemingly calm surface. The 8 great supersects stood in 8 different directions of the Eastern Xian region like great divine beings. They were just like the guardians of the land. There was a vast mountain range, tens of thousands of kilometers wide in the southwestern area of the Eastern Xian region. This mountain range was covered by clouds and mist all year round, an incomparably mysterious sight. This extremely large mountain range was called the Dao region. Located in the Dao region was one of the Eastern Xian region's 8 great supersects, the Dao sect. Hundreds and thousands of empires dotted the area around this Dao region. These empires viewed the Dao sect as their leader and treated the Dao sect as a holy land. They also relied on the Dao sect to survive. Deep within this endlessly vast Dao region mountain range, there was an area covered in mist that was clearly split off from everywhere else. Countless extremely tall and large mountains clustered together here. One could vaguely see an endless number of grand buildings on the top of these enormous mountains. Numerous cities appeared under this fog under the cluster of giant mountains. It was extremely lively there. From a great distance away, it appeared just like a country. In the deepest part of the mountain range, an enormous curtain of light spanning several tens of thousands of feet flowed down from the sky like a dome. Its size was so overwhelming that it appeared as though even day and night were under it. One could see numerous large halls within the light curtain that gave off an ancient and vicissitude aura. Wind sounds echoed endlessly in the skies within this dome, and if one looked down from above, it was possible to see many ant-like figures charging through the clouds with an indescribable ancient majestic feeling. Buzz. At this moment, the light curtain in the distant sky suddenly distorted. After which, a large amount of light gathered, before finally transforming into an enormous formation. Hundreds of figures appeared within the formation in a flash of light, and were instantly dumbstruck when their eyes were shifted downwards. Hiss. At the front of the crowd, Lin Dong's face was filled with shock due to the scene below. Soon after, he inhaled a deep breath of cool air, before once again gazing at the light curtain before him that seemingly covered the sky. After which, he turned towards the enormous mountain and the ancient aura that it contained. It felt as if he had time-traveled back to the ancient times. Although the ancient treasure trove was quite large, it was after all only some ruins, while the place that currently appeared in front of Lin Dong's eyes was a genuine supersect. A great being of this world. Welcome to the Dao sect. Wu Dao smilingly watched the group of people, who were seemingly shocked to the limit. There was some pride on his face as he laughed. This is the Dao sect her. Lin Dong involuntarily licked his lips. He had once envied the disciples of the ancient sects when the ancient sect remains. Never did he imagine that would now be able to enjoy the same privileges. Let's go, follow me into Dao sect. All of you are still not considered as true Dao sect disciples. Do not randomly roam around. Wu Dao waved his sleeves as a golden light rushed out, before entering the light curtain. Buzz buzz. The light barrier rippled a little, and the faint undulations that resulted caused Lin Dong's scalp to feel numb. He was truly unable to imagine just who had constructed such a frightening defense. There is a formation hidden within the light curtain, and is likely a great ancient sect formation of the Dao sect. If it is activated, even an expert at the mysterious life stage will be destroyed immediately until nothing remains. Even the strongest of life chi would be unable to save him. Little Martin's expression was also somewhat grave, as he observed the light curtain in front of him. Even he felt an extreme amount of danger from this light curtain. Lin Dong nodded, not feeling surprised at all. It would be strange if something that was used by the Tao sect as their great sect protecting formation did not possess such power. The light barrier rippled as a pathway was slowly being torn open. Wu Dao waved his hand and the light array that had followed Lin Dong's group entered the interior of the Tao sect with him as he rushed through the light door. Bang! The moment they entered the light door, Lin Dong's group sensed a rich and almost viscous natural yuan power pounce at them. Their bodies were immediately shaken by the sudden change, and some of them were flipped by this yuan power hurricane. Such rich natural yuan power. As Lin Dong felt the yuan power that permeated this land, his facial expression immediately changed a little. The natural yuan power of the world within this light curtain was likely over a dozen times richer than that of the outside world. Clearly, this was a powerful tactic that the Tao sect had employed. It forcefully and continuously absorbed the natural yuan power from hundreds of thousands of kilometers around into the Tao sect for its disciples to use. This move was truly a little terrifying. Swoosh swoosh. While Lin Dong's group was in shock due to the terrifying yuan power, a dozen rainbows rushed across the sky. Finally, they transformed into a dozen human figures wearing dark red robes. These people had hurried over to take a look, because of the arrival of Lin Dong's group. Their faces only relaxed when they saw Wu Dao. Greetings, Deputy Hall Chief Wu Dao. The dozen figures respectfully cupped their hands together and bowed. These are the disciples selected from the 100 Empire War. Wu Dao softly chuckled as he casually explained. The dozen figures only came to a sudden comprehension at this moment. Their eyes immediately swept over Lin Dong's large group. There was some sternness within their eyes, and quite a number of people avoided their gaze, evidently pressured by the aura from their bodies. As expected of the Tao sect. Just patrolling disciples alone are already so powerful, Lin Dong's heart was slightly shaken because of their powerful auras. From what he could tell, the strength of this group were all at or above the 5 yuan nirvana stage. Moreover, their fighting strength was clearly much greater than an ordinary 5 yuan nirvana stage expert. Otherwise, they would not possess such a demeanor. Although their auras were strong, they did not cause Lin Dong any pressure. With his current strength, he could contend against a 6 yuan nirvana stage expert. Moreover, in terms of tactics, he did not really fear these disciples. After the patrolling disciples' eyes swept around, they paused a little longer on Lin Dong's group. Clearly, these people had also sensed they were somewhat extraordinary. They immediately nodded quietly. It seemed like the 100 Empire War had produced quite a number of decent disciples. Deputy Hall Chief Wu Dao, please lead these disciples and head to the hall selection stage. The other 3 great hall deputy chiefs are already waiting. A patrolling disciple spoke respectfully to Wu Dao. Wu Dao frowned a little upon hearing these words. He snorted, these fellows are already unable to wait any longer, and anxiously want to recruit some new members. The patrolling disciples were a little embarrassed when they heard this, but they did not dare to say anything in response. Go, go, I know what to do. Wu Dao waved his hand in an irritable manner, and chased the patrolling disciples away. After which, he waved his hand with a somewhat gloomy face, and led everyone towards a large mountain in the distance, which was covered by clouds. Lin Dong looked at Wu Dao, who had a somewhat ugly expression. He did not understand why the latter would suddenly become displeased. There are 4 great halls where the Tao sect grooms its disciples. They are named Sky, Earth, Flood and Desolate. Based on what I know, the Sky Hall should currently be the strongest, the Earth Hall is second while the Desolate Hall is last. Wu Dao is the Deputy Hall Chief of the Desolate Hall. The disciples that enter the Dao sect will choose one of the 4 halls. However, since the Desolate Hall is ranked last, those with great talent will usually be poached by the Sky Hall and the Earth Hall. Little Martin's voice sounded out beside Lin Dong's ears and resolved the doubt within the latter's heart. Which hall should I join then? Lin Dong immediately understood, and asked softly. Little Martin mused for a moment before slowly spitting out 2 words. Desolate Hall. After listening to the name that came out of Little Martin's mouth, Lin Dong gawked and said with a little doubt, "Didn't you say that the Desolate Hall was the weakest?" At the beginning, there was no difference between the 4 halls of the Dao sect, and only during the later period did a slight difference emerge. During that time, the strongest was not the Sky Hall, but the Desolate Hall. Little Martin said casually. Oh? Lin Dong was somewhat astonished, as he had never imagined that the currently bottom-ranked Desolate Hall actually had a period of glory. So why are they ranked last now? Lin Dong asked. Within the 4 great halls of the Dao sect, there are 4 great mysterious scriptures: Sky Halls, Heavenly King's Scripture; Earth Halls, Earth King's Scripture; Flood Halls, Flood Scripture; and lastly Desolate Halls, Great Desolation Scripture. These 4 great mysterious scriptures are the top martial arts of the Dao sect, and their creator was an extremely frightening existence even during the primordial times. The scripture that is most obscure is the Great Desolation Scripture. Little Martin said as his expression slowly turning serious. This change in expression, and his rarely seen serious expression, allowed Lin Dong to understand the might of the Great Desolation Scripture. Although the Great Desolation Scripture is extremely powerful, it too has a weakness. That is, it is extremely demanding on the individuals who tried to comprehend it. Therefore, till this present age, although many talents have been recruited into the halls, the number of people that managed to comprehend the Great Desolation Scripture can be counted using one hand. Since there was no one who could comprehend the Great Desolation Scripture, it was natural that elite disciples of the Desolate Hall could not compete with their counterparts of the 3 other halls, who were able to comprehend the 3 other great mysterious scriptures. Therefore, year by year passed with them remaining at the bottom. Lin Dong thought that this was very obvious, as the 4 great mysterious scriptures were the trump cards of the 4 great halls. However, it seems like the Desolate Hall was especially unlucky to own a seemingly unrivaled, but extremely obscure, Great Desolation Scripture. To a certain degree, no matter how powerful it was, if one was unable to understand it, it was still useless. Of course, Desolate Hall is actually biding their time, as they only need one disciple who is able to comprehend the Great Desolation Scripture by a stroke of destiny. With that, they will be able to completely reverse the situation. At that time, winning back the title of the number 1 hall in one stroke would not be a surprising feat, Little Martin said with a smile. Is it that formidable? Lin Dong said while smacking his lips and thought, this Great Desolation Scripture is that fearsome. There's nothing much to make out of it if no one can comprehend it, yet the moment one does, he will immediately shock the world. This isn't just a rumor, as every single Desolate Hall disciple who managed to comprehend the Great Desolation Scripture wound up becoming extremely powerful. Let's not talk about the distant past. Do you know who was the most recent person to comprehend the Great Desolation Scripture? Little Martin grinned. Who is it? Lin Dong replied by reflex before giving a shudder, while his face showed some countenance. Could it be that ruthless senior, who charged into the Yuan Gate and slaughtered 3 of their elders? That's the fellow. Now do you know the reason why Wu Dao does not see eye to eye with Liu Tong? The Desolate Hall has finally managed to raise a prodigy that could comprehend the Great Desolation Scripture, yet in the end, he was killed by the Yuan Gate. This grudge is not something that can be easily resolved with words alone, little Martin said while nodding his head. No wonder. Lin Dong said and solemnly nodded his head, and in his heart a voice of appreciation arose as he thought, from the looks of it, the Great Desolation scripture truly is the most mysterious amongst the 4 great mysterious scriptures. Compared to the green heaven materialized dragon skill given by Qing Ji, which is more powerful. Did you want me to join Desolate Hall, because you wanted me to learn that Great Desolation scripture? Lin Dong said as he finally understood what little Martin meant. Yes, since we have joined the Dao sect, you must definitely obtain that item. Little Martin nodded his head and said, furthermore, in the other 3 great halls there are vast numbers of prodigies and geniuses, which would make it hard for you to stand out if you join them. What's more, that old geezer Wu Dao has taken an interest in you. It's better to be the head of a dog than the tail of a phoenix. Just wait till you succeed in learning the Great Desolation scripture. There will definitely be a place for you in this generation of elite disciples within the Dao sect. This is the only way you can catch up to Ling Qingzhu. Lin Dong rolled his eyes, however he made no attempts at refuting that. Although he was the champion of the 100 Empire War, this place wasn't within an empire, it was one of the biggest super sects within the eastern Xian region. Every disciple here was carefully selected. Furthermore, the 100 Empire War was not the only channel in which these super sects recruit their disciples. Therefore, being the champion of the 100 Empire War was not going to giving him any edge in the Dao sect. Alright, let's join the Desolate Hall. Lin Dong said as he saw the shadow of Wu Dao in front of him. He had already made up his mind. Furthermore, little Martin's words have successfully piqued his interest towards the Great Desolation scripture. While Lin Dong was having a conversation with little Martin, the light formation carrying them slowly descended on the top of a giant hill. On the top of the hill stood many huge halls, and on the very peak covered in clouds, a vast green platform appeared. On top of the platform were humongous columns that created a majestic atmosphere, and Lin Dong's group slowly descended under the assistance of the light formation. Ha ha, Wu Dao, you have finally returned. Just as Lin Dong and the others were descending, a voice filled with laughter could be heard coming from the front. Lin Dong raised his vision until he saw over 10 shadows standing on top of the platform. At the front stood 3 middle-aged men, with hands crossed behind their backs and giving off an imposing aura. Lin Dong could feel an extremely boundless fluctuation coming from them, and if his guess was right, the 3 of them should be the vice heads of the 3 other great halls. Lin Dong's gaze swept past the 3 of them and looked behind them, where there stood 3 disciples, 2 males and 1 female. All 3 of them had a powerful aura emanating from them, which exceeded those emitted from the patrolling disciples that they had previously seen. Amongst the 3 of them, the person that caught Lin Dong's eye was that young lady. She looked quite young and seemed similar to Su Ru, although she presented a much nobler stature. Wearing a red skirt, she had a slim and graceful figure. The young lady had quite a beautiful appearance. However, that was not why Lin Dong paid special attention towards her. Instead, it was because of the faint mysterious fluctuation that was emanating from within her body. Also, other than that fluctuation, he faintly heard the soft and clear sound of a musical instrument. This was the first time that Lin Dong had ever encountered such a scenario, which immediately piqued his interest. Are you guys that impatient? Wu Dao casually said as he landed on the platform, and proceeded to shoot a look at the 3 guys standing in front of him. Ha ha, news of the 100 Empire War had already been transmitted to the sect. Who would have thought that this round's winner did not actually get snapped up by the Yuan Gate, and instead chose to enter our Dao sect? This is truly invigorating, said the middle-aged man, who was standing in front of the young lady in red. He proceeded to give a loud laughter, with the laughter giving of a feeling similar to the rumbling of thunder, shaking and buzzing the surrounding air. He is the vice head of the Sky Hall, Wei Yixing. Who is the champion of this round's 100 Empire War? Said the vice head of the Earth Hall, with a wide smile on his face, as his gaze unceasingly swept over Lin Dong and the rest, with his eyes showing a slight hint of earnestness. Wu Dao gave a light snort and raised his chin towards Lin Dong, who proceeded to finally take a step forward and respectfully gave the three men a salute before he said, "Disciple Lin Dong greets the three vice heads." The instant Lin Dong stepped forth, the gazes of the three vice heads and the young lady dressed in red were instantly focused on his body, as they were all interested in this disciple, who managed to raise some heads within the sect before even entering it. With the power of the fourth Yuan Nirvana stage, he actually managed to become the champion of the 100 Empire War. This is truly surprising, said the vice head of the Sky Hall, Wei Yixing, as he stared at Lin Dong with his eyes sparkling, laying bare Lin Dong's Yuan power cultivation level in a single glance. 4 Yuan Nirvana stage. After hearing this sentence, the young lady standing near him gawked. This strength was not considered as outstanding. How did he actually manage to become the champion of the 100 Empire War? That's not right. There is also mental energy. Nice one, brat. He actually managed to cultivate his mental energy to 4 Seal Heavenly Symbol Master, no wonder. Wei Yixing's senses was quite sharp, and after a detailed survey, he even managed to uncover Lin Dong's mental energy cultivation level. This caused Lin Dong to be quite shocked, as he had always kept his mental energy under wraps and had never released it outwards. Hence, he had never expected that it would be unmasked. This goes to show that it was not by fluke that Wei Yixing was able to become the vice head of the Sky Hall. 4 Seal Heavenly Symbol Master. When this statement entered their ears, the faces of the young lady dressed in red and the 2 males, who were giving off an imposing aura, showed a surprised expression, as they had never thought that Lin Dong could actually cultivate both his Yuan power and mental energy to such a level. A 4 Yuan Nirvana stage together with being a 4 Seal Heavenly Symbol Master, this definitely can be compared favorably to a 5 Yuan Nirvana stage expert. However, based on what I know, Qin Tian from Qian Yuan Empire is at 6 Yuan Nirvana stage. Since you could surpass him, you must have some hidden tricks up your sleeves. TSK. Just by relying on your upbringing from a low-level empire to reach this stage is surely not simple, said Wei Yixing, as he continued to click his tongue. From the looks of it, he knew quite a bit about Lin Dong already. After seeing the look Wei Yixing gave as he stared at Lin Dong, Wu Dao's expression turned into one of discontentment. However, he had no choice, as the Sky Hall is currently the strongest hall and had the most say. If Lin Dong agreed to join them, there was no one who could overturn this decision. As he lamented the fact that such a good seedling was once again going to fall into the hands of the Sky Hall, Wu Dao felt a sense of irritation. Ha, Lin Dong is not bad. Come join my Sky Hall, said Wei Yixing, as expected by Wu Dao, after staring at Lin Dong for a while and spreading his arms before giving a smile. The nearby vice heads of the Earth Hall and Flood Hall gave an angry puff, as they also felt regretful that this seedling was going to once again fall into the hands of the Sky Hall. Wu Dao's face turned ugly. However, he could only wave his sleeves in discontentment, before saying helplessly to Lin Dong, "The Sky Hall is currently the strongest of the 4 great halls. If you wish, you could go and join the Sky Hall." After hearing that, Lin Dong looked at Wei Yixing, who was showing a beaming face, before looking at depressed Wu Dao. Giving a sigh of hopelessness, he gave a salute towards the former. "I'm honored by the love vice head have shown. However, I wish to join the desolate hall." The apologetic sound of a youth resounded across the platform. However, it made everyone present gawk. This video will end here.